How's the year been for you? How are you feeling?
I did not stop. I did not gave myself one moment's pause. So I always say my timing was right.
When your last relationship ended, what's like the biggest lesson you learned about yourself?
When relationships break, you hit the gym.
Exactly. Yeah.
A romantic guy won't be divorced twice. Never spent so much on a film that money becomes more important than the film. I don't want to be remembered after I'm dead. I don't want greatness. I came here only to make films. If I can go back in time and spend a lot of time with my daughter growing up, that's the one biggest regret of my life.
Let's just call this a Shubra thing. It's this thing that I do. I tend to quietly observe people. I could be anywhere, at an airport, a cafe, event, award function. I know it sounds creepy, but no, I'm not judging them. It's just that I've been very curious about people. I want to know what lives they've led, what's going on in their head. You know how there are those decisions, those life-altering moments that push you to flip the script? That's what appeals to me. And somehow, most of the times, I'm walking out of the room with a friend I've made for a lifetime. And that is with someone who have switched the narrative or probably still at it. Because we all know change is the only true constant in life. Well, that's what Flip the Script is all about. I am Shubra, and I'm going to be bringing you stories and narratives of such individuals who are flipping the script one step at a time. Welcome to Flip the Script with Shubra, powered by Spooler. Our guest on today's episode is synonymous with flipping the script, if I may say so. He's definitely one of the greatest storytellers of our times and has been unabashedly vocal about everything and anything under the sun. No holds barred. I can vouch for the fact that he's truly one of the nicest guys in the business. I feel like I know my next guest, but I definitely don't know him enough and I want to get to know him more. I admire him, and every time we catch up, in spite of our busy schedules, it just feels very familiar. I adore him, and I'm sure that you will too. So with that, I would like to introduce you for my first guest of Flip the Script with Shubra, my dear friend, Anurag Kashyap, everybody. Welcome to my show, Anurag Kashyap.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy that you're doing it.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how excited I am.
Yeah.
I'm all nerves, but it just feels so like surreal that you're sitting with me and you're opening my show, Flip the Script.
I'm so honored.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, before we get into like the big questions, I want to ask you, there's been so much that's going on this year. There's been Kennedy. There was Almost Pyar. You've been attending so many festivals, international festivals. You keep doing that. Your daughter got engaged. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
But how's the year been for you? How are you feeling?
I'm getting better day by day. For me, I'm like realize one day at a time I'm taking things. I am kind of also slowly pulling out of the rush of or race of wanting to do so much. I realize I have a lot of things in me that have changed post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And at this moment, my first focus is health. I'm totally prioritizing myself.
Right.
My physical health, my mental health, my work, my finances, and my daughters will be married in some time. So like focusing on all the things.
On the important things in life.
On the things that I should have given importance to before.
Right, I know.
Which I did not because I was so caught up in going from work to work to work to work.
Right, yeah. I'm happy you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because I know that you've had this like thing of like this yoga bout and you were doing so fine and then there was the health like let down and it's just been havoc. I know that.
It's been havoc. Since the pandemic, it's been kind of havoc.
Right. Yeah. Talking about havoc, I want to ask you, are you someone who like are you at your creative best when you're in pain and broken or like when you're flourishing in love in your personal space? Because for me personally, when I'm in a happy relationship, I get so complacent. I just feel like, oh, life is good and stuff.
That happens to everyone.
That happens to everyone. Is that for you too? I want to know when you're like in pain, do you do better?
No, I think, it's like every time when relationships break, you hit the gym.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, it's like you have to, your ways of dealing with it. But I am now in a kind of a very mixed space where actually I'm very self-reliant. I'm practicing a lot of self-reliance in the sense that I had moved out. Gone back to my old space. The old space is redone where I actually, I'm trying to find a routine. I write every morning 4 hours.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So
Okay.
I'm just started to exercise again.
Okay.
And I know it's a long time and I'm not rushing it this time.
Okay. Okay.
Earlier it was like, I would be like at it,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm not rushing it. And my health also, post-pandemic took a toll.
Yeah.
So I know my problems and I'm addressing them one by one.
Right.
And then you also realize so many things. Like one thing that I realized the importance of, I was telling this to somebody the other day. I said, when you reach, I'm 51 now.
Don't look it.
But I'm saying when you reach 51, you realize
Yeah.
the importance of health,
Right.
family,
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
It is so much more important than being in the rush of the
Right.
world
Yeah.
and in the rat race of like,
Right.
I could have still made money. And I had this thing when I came in, I want to change cinema, I want to change the world. And I'm like, the world will remain after you're gone.
Yeah.
And you can't change anything. You can't even change your own home.
Right. Yeah.
So how will you change the world?
Exactly.
So I have nothing. And after a long time now, when people tell me that, you changed the films, I said, no, my timing was right.
No.
No,
Give
it
yourself
is.
more credit. No, please.
No, it's about timing because you know what? What if there wasn't an internet? What if people couldn't download movies? When people started downloading movies,
Right.
where did my films work? My films were unreleased. Where did they work? They worked on with students who were growing up, who were downloading movies. Right?
Yeah, but they also liked it because you were giving them such great content.
Yes, but for me, monetization began with the invent of OTT.
Right.
They're still watching my films online.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So my timing was right. At the same time, I think the audiences started getting introduced to a lot of world cinema.
Right.
So I always say my timing was right. It's just literally, and this realization happens to you with time in the sense, and I, as it is, get a lot of undue credit for many things. So for me, it is not sit back, find time to read.
Right.
I want to sleep 8 hours every day.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything.
Yeah.
So these are things that have become my priority now.
Right. Okay, so, you've been vocal about your heart attack and everything of that sort, right? And would you say this would be your greatest epiphany? Like your thought process changed after like this life-changing thing that happened to you? What was your greatest
for
epiphany?
Me, the most important thing, see, lockdown is when things came to a standstill. Until then, I was shooting non-stop.
Right.
Instead of facing a problem in life, like say, for example, when my company broke down, I was heartbroken with the way things happened and everything that happened. But instead of dealing with that pain, I rushed into work. I made films after films after series after films after series. I did not stop. I did not gave myself one moment's pause.
Right.
I was all over the place, but I would not accept it. I would not address it. I was just non-stop going from things to things, and suddenly the lockdown happened and I could not work. There's nothing to escape to.
Right. Yeah.
And I had to face myself.
Yeah.
And I had to face everything myself. I had to look into the mirror. And I collapsed. I imploded.
Wow.
I imploded. And everything that was happening around affects me. And then that's when I realized, because things affect me. It's like it might have nothing to do with me. There's the war going on somewhere. It affects me.
But that's the beauty about you, and please don't change that. I
am not change. I'm
You're
not trying to change that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to change any of those things.
You're just in check.
I'm just now understanding myself, and I'm not trying to now run away from it.
Right.
And when it comes to, when you talk about being vocal, I don't know any other way. Right. I grew up like that, where I think honesty and transparency should come naturally to people. It should be organic. You should not need courage for that.
True, but it's also so much to do maybe with your childhood and everything, right?
Yeah,
Like the
everything.
upbringing at home and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
हाँ, जब आप सच बोलते हैं आपको थोड़ा ना, देखो झूठ बोलते हो ना आपको याद रखना पड़ता है क्या बोला था.
correct.
जब सच बोलते हैं ना आपको कुछ याद नहीं रखना पड़ता.
Yeah.
वो बार-बार वैसे ही निकलते
Yeah,
हैं.
वो load ही नहीं है.
वो
right?
load ही
Like,
नहीं.
Yeah,
तो
exactly.
वो प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होती इसके पीछे.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, so you have written so many beautiful characters, and it's not your stereotypical perfect. They're like, I call it beautifully flawed. We all are, right? Is there a reason you write that? Is there some part of you that wants to, like, I don't know, deal with your childhood or some part of your personality?
It's like, I was in a boys' boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I spent my time in a boys' boarding school, and I was always 2 years younger.
Oh, okay.
In my class, because I went to school early.
Any reason?
Because my grandfather was a teacher who told my father that this boy is some kind of a prodigy, so which my father took seriously.
Wow. Okay.
So I was sent to school a little too early. So what happens is, kids, when they're in that age bracket of between 8 to 14, 15, they can be cruel without knowing.
Right.
Right? In the sense that a kid feels strong when he can push somebody around, right?
Right, yeah.
So I was the one who got pushed around a lot.
Okay.
Because of those things, I spent most of my time in the library because I didn't want to be pushed around.
Right. Wow.
So I spent libraries where kids don't go to.
Yeah. And boys at that age, not really.
They don't.
Yeah.
And it was a boys' school, so I would spend most of my time in the library. And then what will you do? You'll start reading books. And I ended up reading a lot. I would just read. When I came out of the boys' school, I was literally from that age, and 15, 16 years, suddenly seeing so many girls. And that age, you don't know what to do. Didn't even have the confidence to talk to them or do anything like that. And generally, what happens is, in those times, and it still happens today, a society is so judgmental. Sometimes it very immediately labels somebody. If a girl is too outspoken, they get labeled. If a woman owns her own sexuality, she'll get labeled. Everybody gets labeled for some reason or the other. Either they're looked down upon or they're looked at as too much in awe, and they often get isolated. Right? Isolated within their own world.
Yeah.
So I was a very quiet boy. So those women who were always labeled became my best friends.
Okay.
And I found them that, they're the most open people. Most open. You can talk very honestly. And they made me realize that where I come from, and there's this kind of patriarchy. One friend of mine, I said, "Ladkiyon ko cigarette nahi pina chahiye." Acha? Ladkon ko pina chahiye? And it started like that. And then she ragged me. And then she made fun of me. And then slowly, you grow up and you realize that whole idea of the girl next door or the nice boy is very conditioned and forced onto people to suit whoever is forcing it onto them.
Matter of convenience, right?
And it's all about for how others perceive you.
Yeah.
It's not the natural them.
Yeah.
And those people often lie.
Yeah.
And they often get either are repressed, or they often lie, or they will hold back.
Yeah.
So for me, the kind of people I became friends with, the kind of people I loved interacting with, were the kind of people who inspired me and became characters in my movies.
And I can actually say, because I was going through a transitional phase in my life where I come from South India and I'm like this good girl, listen to my parents and stuff. But I knew there was a side of me which was, I don't know, for the lack of a better word, like bold. There was a side that wanted to do, and there were like few friends who encouraged that, saying, you know what, Shubs, this is you. I feel like you're more comfortable being this person. And in that small lot, you're one of them. I remember meeting you and you asked me what's my favorite film. There's a backstory to that, why you didn't want to meet me because of my name and all of that stuff. But when we met, you asked me that and we kept speaking. And I just felt comfortable talking to you about who am I, what I want. And I didn't have to be something else. And you were very instrumental in that little transitional phase in my life, I must tell you.
Yeah. No, but I know, thank you so much for that. But there's no point in judging people. I just feel like we don't need to be so judgmental in life.
Correct.
And let people be. And when you let somebody just be, you also see the real side of them.
Right. Yeah, you flourish better in that space.
And it's
right?
so important. And I believe in this fact that nobody intentionally would like to do something bad. Everybody wants to do their best.
Exactly. Yeah.
You just give them a shot, they'll do their best.
Right.
So my entire team I work with, I empower them.
Right.
And I give them freedom. And everybody says, ये कैसे होता है? Sir, कुछ नहीं, इसने किया, उसने किया.
Yeah.
Because they bring their best.
Yeah. And it shows in their work, right?
They all bring their best on my films.
Yeah. I'm still trying to cope with the whole, log kya kahenge, like judgment. I mean, I do things that I want to do, but I feel like I still get affected. And I think it comes down to being a human being, right? Like what people think about you does affect you. I want to know, since you've been just so vocal about everything and you're like, I don't give a shit, right, about saying anything, but you're a human being too. Is there some perception of what people have of you that you would like to change and be like, hey, that's not really me?
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You cannot do that. See, because, a lot of people think my films are me. This is, if I make Gangs of Wasseypur or a movie like Raman Raghav, people think I'm a psychopath. People will think I've met so many people who often meet me and they think, they're like initially very scared of meeting me.
Yeah.
And when they meet me, they get overwhelmed because I'm the totally opposite of their perception.
Correct.
So both things happen, but I can't change that. A lot of people think, because I do smoke.
Right.
I roll my cigarettes. So a lot of people think I smoke up. So often when I get trolled, people call me a ganjedi, nashedi. But I just roll my cigarettes. They don't even know that I'm allergic to it.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even know I'm so allergic to it because I get serious asthma attacks. Yeah. Even if I smell somebody smoking pot around me.
Yeah.
But people don't know that. So when I walk, sometimes, like I was in Toronto for a festival and somebody came and I've got a nice gift for you. And he had a wrapped bag with flowers on it. And I could, because I'm allergic to it, I can smell it from a distance.
Right.
I said, what's in that bag? He says, something that you would love. And then I opened the bag and he had rolled joints in it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Yeah. I said, I don't smoke up. And I just put it away and I said, take the smell away from me.
Yeah.
Because it starts I have to take a antihistamine immediately.
Oh, wow.
It's that bad for me.
That allergic. Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm talking about his perception, but I can't change that.
When your last relationship ended, what's like the biggest lesson you learned about yourself?
I don't fight for it.
Don't fight for it to work out.
No, in the sense like, I let go very easily.
Oh,
and maybe that's not so good.
Okay.
Because by the end of it, people want you to fight for them.
Yeah.
People want you to fight for them.
We like it.
People want you to fight for them. And which is why probably I'm left alone. Like, by the end of it, you're left alone because in my head, I was like, people make choices. If they want to go, they'll go.
Yeah. It's not the lack of love. It's just like, okay.
It's not the lack of love.
I know. Yeah.
But it's just like, sometimes, see, because, men, women are different from each other.
Yeah.
But it takes a lifetime to understand that, and still there's so much more to learn.
Right. Yeah.
So one thing I've realized I've lost people because I didn't fight for them.
Would you change that today? Would you do that?
Today it's my health. I feel like nobody deserves to right now deal with my struggles that I'm having with myself. I don't want to do the same mistake. Earlier I got into a relationship because I was in a needy space or sometimes like that. I want to first be fully fine, focus only on myself and my health. When I get to a space like that, where I make a choice from a very healthy space, healthy place and healthy mind, I will not.
Talking about relationships, you meet so many people. They all want to be your friends. There's so many of them who are just like your yes men around you, right? And it's so important as humans that we create these boundaries around us. So what's your filtration process of keeping like the riffraff out and keeping the real ones in? Actually,
earlier it was like I was surrounded by a lot of people and the idea was to encourage a lot of people, everybody to make films because I was an outsider and I thought there was no one for me, so I'll be there for people. And now it's tiring for me because I did that, and the world has changed now. It's not the same world same film industry I came into. This industry is very welcoming to the outsiders.
Right.
And everybody has to go through their struggles. But people still come to me thinking that I will do something for them. And I'm like, no, I've not. And one place I said, I've stopped. I'm not the charity anymore. And this is for the first time. And this for the first time, what I did was when I went back to my old house had a lot of rooms. And every time somebody passing through or somebody would be staying there, I broke all the rooms. Now my house has only one room. So there's no place for anyone. And this time consciously I've kept the kitchen also out because I need my isolation. So I've realized I've isolated myself. And I'm with my books and my movies and my shoes and nothing. And and that has helped me found the writer in me back, because when the house is empty in the morning, I have written so much in last 1 year that I have not written since Kennedy. I've written so much that I have not written since Raman Raga. I have not written that.
So it's a good phase for you creatively.
Yeah, I have so much good material written. It's almost like I've gone back to my days of beginning days, the way I used to write. And I've started writing again after so many years for outside production houses.
Oh, wow.
For other people, which I totally stopped doing.
Nice.
So suddenly it's like I'm back in a zone, and that has happened because I have cut out a lot of riffraff from my life.
That's so nice. I want to learn that because my friends think I'm too trusting.
It happens with age.
Like I can't say no. It's not possible.
Yeah, that's the same problem I had. But now I've started saying
yeah, because you get burnt out in the process, right? Like, yeah, so good.
Yeah,
so basically for you it was breaking your rooms and hey, I'm living in one room.
I broke my room, so in the sense that
no expectation.
So anybody comes, like even family, I said, I don't have space in my house for anyone.
Yeah. And no one takes offense क्योंकि जगह ही नहीं है. So
जगह ही नहीं है.
Yeah. Okay.
मैं kitchen भी बाहर रख दिया.
Wow.
खाना भी when I say that बन के आता है. So
really?
it is, it's like totally no.
It's so important to draw such boundaries. I really think so. So do you think that's the hardest decision you've made? Because my next question is, what is the hardest decision you've ever made in your life?
I think there's only once that I fought a lot, but I just could not beat the system for my film, was when I made a very expensive film, Bombay Velvet. And that's when the biggest lesson from it was never spend so much on a film that money becomes more important than the film.
Because your crux of everything you've made is so different from that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, for me, it's like it was got weighed down by the money spent on it. Right. So I think that was the hard part.
Okay.
And the other hard thing is now. It's like now that I slipped so down health-wise that coming back up has been an uphill task. Last year, same time, I was in a worse place. And before that, I was and 1 year before that, I was in an even worse place.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So for me, it's like I've been struggling with this whole, because of asthma, you get put on steroids. And it's because of steroids, you put on so much weight and so fast. So I eat so little, but the weight that you put on, you bloat and it becomes so big. It also has a lot of other side effects. So that really has affected my immunity and system. And so I have to fight that. So now I'm working on my health, losing my weight, immunity, getting back to where I was in 2019.
I remember
2019,
seeing you then,
2019, I was so
you
good.
were feeling good about everything.
Yeah,
but you're such a fighter, you'll get back.
Yeah, I'm crawling back up.
Yeah. For me, my hard decision would be to get married, right? I'm very happily married today, but I used to think if I get married, my wings are going to be clipped. Like, that's about it. And my friends thought maybe I don't want to get married because maybe my parents are unhappy, but to the contrary, because that's the happiest marriage I've seen. But in my thing, I used to think like it's going to clip my wings and that's about it. And that was for me the hardest decision. Now in retrospect, I'm just like, I just make
always marry the wind beneath your wings.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. Is there something in your life that you would do differently today?
Me, yes, absolutely.
What?
I would have slowed down. If I can go back in time and spend a lot of time with my daughter growing up, that's the one biggest regret of my life. I did not spend enough time with her because I was chasing some, I don't know what, making one film after the other film, trying to prove a point, fighting the system. I got so consumed by it that suddenly it was like on my daughter saying engagement day, and I was looking at her. I was like, 22 years gone. I did not spend so much time with her. What was I chasing? Nothing is worth your health and family. And that's something that I realize only now.
But now I'm sure you're doing everything to spend that time with her, right? I know you're a very
I've lost
good
it.
father.
See, for me, no, I've lost it. See, very good father is like, it's not the way we were conditioned. Very good father is not somebody who just buys you everything.
No, not a provider.
And provides you everything.
Yeah.
I'm saying the real quality time, when sometimes there's a very strange thing happened, like she and her mom and her best friend and her best friend's mom, and they were talking about stories, and suddenly I was like, I was not in any of those stories.
Oh.
I didn't know when that happened.
That hurts.
And it made me cry. I was like, I just missed out. In my head, I think that, I was a good father. And in my head, I think I've done. No, I missed out so much.
You've had that conversation with her?
Yeah.
Okay.
She had that conversation with me. She told me all this on my face. She says, it's pending. I need to tell you, you were not there.
Oh, God. Okay.
And you're always just making films and doing things.
I know, but I'm sure you're going to learn from this and you're going to be there.
Yes, time is.
I know that you're a good father. I know how invested you are. I know those
like
things
those moments and time is gone now.
I know.
It's gone now. It's not going to come back.
Yeah, but you gave us just the greatest films. There's a little price to pay, I guess, unfortunately. And that was that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like in the pandemic, I realized I don't want to be remembered after I'm dead. I don't want greatness. I came here only to make films. And I did not want any of those things that, people throw on you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's not like that. While I'm alive, I want to be happy and have those things that matter to you.
Yeah, we should all actually look at life like that.
Yeah.
Can we call Anurag a romantic?
That you have to ask other people.
But what do you feel?
I'm sensitive.
I feel you're a romantic. I mean, it's not like we've been in a relationship.
Very sensitive and I'm very emotional, but I don't know. Like a romantic guy won't be divorced twice.
No, I beg to differ on that. So much love. Look at you wanting to get married again in spite of a marriage that didn't work out. So you must be.
No, I don't think I want to get married again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I like, you don't want to burden somebody. You can want to be with someone. You can want to be with someone. You don't need to marry for that.
That's true.
Yeah. And this age, like I feel if I can guarantee that I'll be alive and fit and healthy till I'm 90, then I'll plan life. But right now, I don't think so. I'm in that place.
Okay. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Is there like a particular routine or ritual that you do, which maybe people think is absurd, but you need to do that to keep your creative juices flowing and flourishing?
I think the most important thing is to sit on the writing table.
Okay. Even if you don't have any.
In the sense, I have two tables. One is my dining table. One is my writing table. All my film scripts have been written on that, mostly. But now I sit on my dining table every morning with my papers and things. And even if I write one page or nothing, I'll sit there.
Okay.
I'll sit there because what happens is you get used to that. And those papers keep staring at you.
And something comes up, you feel?
No, and now it has started happening so often which I say that it is after such a long time that I actually end up writing almost every day.
It's because of this routine also, you feel?
Because of this routine and because of isolation. Because writing is a lonely process, but lonely is not, it's a isolation. It's not a sad lonely.
Right.
It's not a sad lonely.
Yeah.
Because a simple doorbell can break your flow. Sound of a doorbell can break your flow.
Right.
I'm saying somebody just walking past can break your flow, and then the ideas just go out of your head.
Right.
And once it's broken, it can take from 5 minutes to an hour to 1 year to an entire decade for it to come back to you.
Wow.
Yeah. So now it's become a habit. So which is why if you see the most prolific writers, like I would say Stephen King, say for example, they write every day.
You think they have a certain routine like that, right?
Everybody who's prolific, they write every day. Like at least try to get 10 pages in.
Right. Nice.
And that's what I was watching one interview with Stephen King, and he said, I just write 10 pages a day. If you write 10 pages a day, it takes you 20 days to write 200 pages. Right?
Yeah.
And if you write 1 month or 2 months, you'll have a book out.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Right.
So that's why he writes the most number of books.
Right. Yeah.
So it's very simple. So and like I have written, I don't know, 5 scripts in the last 2 months.
Wow. Congratulations. That's impressive.
Yeah. And 2 of them are on hire. So, and there's something or the other I keep doing now.
Nice. Talking about books, if you were to write your memoir, what would you call it?
I would never write it.
Why? Don't deprive us of that.
No, like I will never. I have turned down many offers for that. I have turned down the offer for somebody else also writing it. I said if I cannot be 100% brutally honest, then there should not be any memoir. Then you're lying. Right? And if I'm brutally honest, I'll hurt a lot of people.
Talking about brutal honesty, right? If you had this opportunity to make a movie with no restrictions, nothing whatsoever, what is like the most outrageous concept that you would come up with?
I don't know. I think I have lots of things. We're living in a time which will give us a lot of stories when this time is past.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great cinema that will come out. I'm saying like you look at Holocaust, no? So many great movies and stories come out of there. They're still coming. The Zone of Interest this year, which is a totally new perspective.
Right, yeah.
But when you go through certain times where you cannot say or do what you want to say or do, it gives you so much fodder for the future.
For the future. Yeah. Okay.
Look at the number of projects, things and films being made on emergency now.
Right. Yeah.
So we are right now just accumulating.
Fodder. For
हम लोग सिर्फ खा रहे.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about writing and everything you're doing professionally, but what do you do in your free time just for yourself?
This is what I enjoy doing.
Okay.
I enjoy making a movie, writing. Otherwise, I just hang with filmmakers and some of my team members. And nothing, I sleep.
Okay.
I watch movies. I watch a lot of movies.
Fair enough. That's your free time.
That's my free time.
Okay. If you weren't a filmmaker, what would you do? Did you ever have like a plan B?
No, my plan, filmmaking was not in the plan at all.
Okay.
I was studying to be I fantasized to be a microbiologist.
Right.
And I was studying towards that. It just happened when I started watching, because I was a closet writer.
Right.
I was a closet writer because I was always made to feel my stories have a problem. If like I wrote stories for school magazine, they would tell me that, there's some issue with this guy. His stories are too dark or too real. Or children don't write like this. Father ko message chala jayega, bete mein kuch problem hai, kind of a thing. So I would not show my writing to anyone after a while. No. I became a closet writer. But when I started watching cinema from across the world, this is how I write.
Right. Yeah.
Those are my stories. I can also write stories like that. But our mainstream cinema never made me feel like that. So when I felt like that, I realized this is what I'm going to do, tell stories.
Okay,
and so then I became a filmmaker. Today I know the two things I do very well. I'm a very good teacher. Like I can teach to students, I can teach people filmmaking, writing, everything. And I do that often. I do that with a lot of people. And I'm a very good cook.
So, I'll add to that. I think you're a very good friend also.
Yeah.
Very, very good friend.
Yeah. So teaching or cooking. But friend can't be a job, no?
Yeah, but it's such an important relationship.
Yeah, that is true.
So important, right? Yeah. So I'll give you that. For me, I remember when I was in second grade and I didn't look anything like this. I was just like this skinny, gawky, with short hair and everything. And they were asking every student, what do you want to become? And they were saying scientist and everything. Supposedly I stood up and I said Miss Universe. Like for me, I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. There was no idea of plan B. I'm going to be a model and then I'm going to be in the business of entertainment. Like there's that
Wow.
crazy clarity, and I'm just so
Wow.
grateful I'm doing that,
Wow.
I'm in the business of entertainment. So I just feel so good.
I had no clue. I used to play games of the film and all that, but it's all subconscious.
Right.
I did not know what I wanted to become because you could not dare think of
Correct.
wanting to be in films
Yeah.
when I was growing up.
Right. Now it's a
And
different
also,
time. Yeah.
also you could say that because that was probably after Aishwarya and Sushmita
Yes.
became Miss India.
Yes.
After that, it
They were
became a
these-
dream of
yeah,
many, little
100%.
girls.
There were these
yeah.
aspirational women, right? We looked up to and
So
stuff.
why hota hai? Because there's always something like a lot of people come to me and they say, "Sir, I'm a filmmaker because of you." I
Yeah.
said, "मैंने क्या किया तेरे साथ?"
Yeah.
But it happens to a lot of people. So for
Yeah.
me, it was like we could not dare dream of. तो सपना भी नहीं देखते थे कि फिल्मों में आना है. So maximum my dream was to own a cinema hall,
Okay.
maximum,
Wow, so cute.
which could show films.
Right. Yeah.
So that is what it was. I don't think there was anything more than that. So filmmaking came much later.
Right. For me also, I think at home, they just every day told me how stunning I am. Sometimes I look back at the pictures and I'm like, wow, my parents just really love me. I went through that phase. That really helped me, with the confidence, like to just say that to your kid every day that, wow,
you
you're
feel
good.
like that. Absolutely.
Makes you feel like that. I've
Absolutely.
seen the difference where their friends who are actually very gorgeous, very confident, but because of their upbringing being a certain way, which is their parents saying, take it easy, itna nahi karna hai, they've just become a little underconfident.
Yeah.
So these things play a big role, and my parents
I
really...
think your confidence comes from your parents.
Yeah, that childhood really matters.
Confidence totally comes from your parents and your
Yeah.
peers.
What is the one quality about you that you don't like about yourself?
I'm already working on it. My inability to say no.
Right. We share
working.
that.
I am already working on that. And also because, you're made a certain way. So I feel a lot. It's like, abhi bhi, say for example, I know the truth. So if I'm stuck in a traffic, and today we live in a time where I carry cards, I don't have money, right? And I don't carry digital money at all.
Okay.
Right? So I have only credit cards.
Right.
So sometimes when there's somebody needy and who's hitting at your car wanting money, it makes me feel very bad. I know I should not encourage it, should not give them money. But I don't have the courage to look into their eyes.
Same.
I feel so bad and I can't look into their eyes. And somebody has told me, somebody told me why you should not do that. I said, you're not really helping them. If you have food, give food to them. Somebody taught me, if you have food, give food to them. I'm saying if they're begging for food, no money for food, or if they're begging for medicine, go buy the medicine for them.
Right.
But never give them money, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't. But it's so hard to look at them. It feels like, you feel like, मैंने उनका कुछ चुरा लिया मैंने. ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत ऐसा हो जाता है वो. And those things, that stays with me for like a longer journey. But those are things. And sometimes also when I know somebody's really, really in need of something and I can't do it, it affects me a lot for the long time. But I've started to learn to say no. I started building walls and boundaries because मैं खत्म हो गया उस चक्कर में खुद ही.
Burned out, right?
पहले तो मेरे से होता था ना, and that's why nobody gives me anything, and because I'll give it away.
Yeah.
So it's also burnt me out. So when your glass is empty, how can you offer anybody water?
Yeah. But for me, it's exactly opposite because I can't say no either. But for me, when I do say no, that feeling that I have to live with for the next 3 days, I'm like, you know what? Let me just say yes, which is not a good thing either.
It's not a good thing at all.
But I'm constantly thinking about how are they feeling? Did I hurt them? It's such a load. So it comes to say...
No, it's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
I've learned it is not your responsibility. If only everybody just did what they wanted to do in life and did their share of things, the world would be a so much better place.
Better place. I know.
It's taken me so long to understand मेरा काम नहीं है उसको ठीक करना, उसका काम है खुद को ठीक करना, मेरा काम है खुद को ठीक रखना.
Yeah.
और हर आदमी अगर खुद को ठीक रखेगा और अपने हिस्से का काम करेगा ना तो सड़क भी साफ रहेगी.
Yeah, that is such a good lesson. Yeah, seriously. So, but okay, that's a quality that you don't like about yourself. But if there's that one quality that you want like youngsters to imbibe from you, what would that be?
Just only do what you love and be consumed by it. Because when you're consumed by it, it's never a struggle.
Right.
Struggle to feel ही नहीं होता फिर.
But what if that's not working out for you? There's something you love and it's just not working out. And I always struggle with that because in
No,
our
it's
life.
not. I'm saying see, working out is a very different thing. When you say working out, then you are associating the process with an outcome.
Outcome. Right. Yeah.
You are fixated on the outcome.
Right.
See, I love making films. I'm not trying to break the box office record of Jawan.
Right.
I will continue making films. I will never stop making films.
Yeah, but you're
और मेरे को जवान का बॉक्स ऑफिस रिकॉर्ड से अगर मैं लड़ने लग जाऊं कि मेरे को इसको बीट करना है, I'll be done in a day. मेरा पैकअप एक साल में हो जाएगा. I've had actually amongst all my contemporaries, I've had the longest career.
Yes.
Longest career.
Yeah.
30 years and I'm still here and I'm still getting to make films.
Yeah.
And I will make films. But the thing is, I'm not competing with anyone. Like somebody says, आपको पता है Rohit Shetty gets paid so much. I said, हाँ, because he generates so much.
Correct.
You get paid because you generate money.
Yeah.
Some actor gets paid so much money because they generate money. They get an opening, like film की quality कितने भी खराब हो, उनकी opening guaranteed है.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, but you can say that. But as an actor, right? Like this is always.
If you love acting, you can do theatre. You keep doing theatre. Let your acting take you where it has to take you.
Okay.
See, I'll tell you why a lot of very good actors also lose their way. Because there are lots of very good actors.
Right.
But everybody comes in their head, they want to be a Shah Rukh Khan.
Yeah.
They want to be a Ranveer Singh. Actresses, they want to be an Aishwarya Rai. They want to be a Deepika or an Alia. Why not want to be a Rajpal Yadav?
Right.
Why not want to be a that?
Yeah.
But the thing is, actually, वो सारी ही चीजें problem है. You have to just act and be yourself.
Is there like a personal goal or aspiration that you have that you want to fulfill?
One bucket list, if you talk about, there are lots of things. There's so many parts of the world I've not seen.
Okay.
I want to dive in Belize. Right. I want to spend a diving holiday in Raja Ampat.
Okay, wow.
I have bucket list like that. I want to go to Micronesia, travel across.
Okay.
I want to do skydiving.
I've done it.
I have not done it yet.
Are you scared of heights?
I had vertigo.
Okay.
But I still want to do that because I had fear of the ocean also, which went away when I started diving. And then I became such a regular diver.
I know.
I would travel across the world to dive. So my diving goals are there. And I want to spend a lot of time reading. I also want to, which is now going to materialize because I'm going to teach at Kottayam. I want to teach. I like to mentor young filmmakers. Right. Like nowadays, my driver came to me and he says, "Bete ka kuch karo," because my driver's son is very highly educated. Okay. And he had to he was in BITS. Oh wow. And he says, "Ki job karna hai, kya hai, musko bulaya, karna kya hai?" And his interest was creative. Okay. So I started giving him graphic novels. I said, "Now leave your son to me." Now his son is so into graphic novels and he's reading the kind of graphic novels that you won't find them in India. And suddenly he's so into that world and he's going into a different direction. And I love doing that. Nice. Because I have access to these things that I want to share with people and say, "Chal Raja, main tero corrupt karta hu." Because you need to see beyond what you think defines anything. Because we limit the definition of cinema. We limit the definition of this. So I like corrupting young minds.
I see you being so good at it. Okay, you spoke about how you don't care too much about a legacy, right? But for me personally, I want to leave a legacy. I want them to say she came, she gave so much.
No, you won't be there to hear it.
Huh?
I want to see everything happening while I'm alive.
But you also speak about, see, that's a dichotomy, right? You also speak about how you want to inspire people. So you want
No,
them to
I
be...
like teaching. I like
Huh.
teaching because, see, it's a culture. I like to build culture. So what happens is the reason why I was helping so many young filmmakers earlier.
Yeah.
When they're more, because I struggled a lot and I was banned for 7 years. And then when there are more filmmakers who are making new cinema, I also get to make more new cinema. When somebody pushes the boundary, I get so happy because suddenly I feel like I want to push that boundary, not the box office boundary.
Right.
But like I saw so many good films recently. Like I saw one of the best action films ever made in this country, a film called Kill, which played at TIFF, which is not released yet.
Okay.
By a filmmaker who I did not expect it from.
Okay.
And no, he inspired me so much. He set new standard for me. If I have to do an action film, it has to be better than that. So for me, that inspired me. That's the boundary I want to cross.
Right.
Like when I see a good filmmaker, like so many great Malayalam films coming out, I want to do that. I want to be like, I want to compete with these young filmmakers. And I want to understand what they're trying to do.
Nice. Very nice. I know you don't believe in legacy and stuff, but you're going to be leaving such a legacy. You already have. Like, you're such an inspiration to all of us. My favorite quality about you is, it's my first podcast. You didn't have to come here. You didn't have to do it. I know how busy you are. You did it for me. And that's so, so nice. I don't know of too many people at your level who would do something like this. So
what I'm saying, you have to stop seeing that. We are friends first.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah.
But I'm very happy. I'm very happy we're talking. Like, actually, this is a kind of conversation we've not had in this detail.
No, we haven't.
No,
yeah. That's why I started by saying, I know my guest, but I feel like I want to get to know him more, So this has helped me. Thank you so much. This has been such an enlightening conversation. With everything you say, I feel like I'm learning so much, and I'm sure everyone in this room just feels like that. There was so much ground we covered. This is always going to be special, Anurag, really, for the rest of my life that you did this.
I'm so happy.
Thank you so much for being
I'm so happy you're doing so many new things.
Yeah.
Like launching your bubble tea.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God,
doing
I'm
this.
emotional.
Yeah. No, it's because, generally I thought you after marriage people get lax.
Right, yeah.
But you're not.
I'm not.
You're still at it, and you still exercise, you still do yoga, and you
Yes.
still put up those videos, which is so good.
Thank you. Oh my God, did you just get me to cry on my first episode? Thank you so much. This is always going to be special. Thank you for coming
you
to
so
flip
much.
the script with Shubra.